As we know that keto has gained a lot of favor over the past few years in our culture, and part of the reason for that, one of the ways that these food trends, diet trends kind of take hold is when we have famous people latch onto it. I remember many years ago when low carb was kind of flailing in the late 2000s, people were always asking me, what's it going to take for people to embrace low carb? And I flat out said, somebody famous is going to have to talk about it. Somebody famous is going to have to go out there and say, I did the low carb diet and I changed my health. I improved my conditioning if it's an athlete. Well, guess what? That's what's happened. We've had lots of athletes. We've had LeBron James, most famously. We've had lots of actresses, people like Halle Berry with type 1 diabetes, and she's a big fan of keto. So that kind of thing is what has always been the way that we promote the message and why keto has gotten out there in a very big way in recent years. But with eyeballs and with notoriety to keto comes a lot of jealousy and comes a lot of distortion of what keto is. And a couple of years ago, we saw this with the famous Biggest Loser trainer, Jillian Michaels. She was trying to promote a new book, and so she came out and she just trashed keto with all the accusations you can think of. Well, at least to Jillian's defense, at least she's in the industry of weight loss and health. Where it gets squirrely is where you have actresses, musicians, and other people that would come out and speak against the ketogenic diet. And that's what we have here today with the story I'm going to tell you about here in just a second. But first, as I was doing research for this story, I found this one from just a few months ago. Actress dies after being on a prolonged ketogenic diet, and experts are warning of the consequences. So this is the kind of thing that passes for journalism. So apparently, and I think this was in India, the sudden demise of an actress, 27 years old, named Mishti Mukherjee, was due to kidney failure, and it left the fitness enthusiasts and health experts perplexed about what this means about a long-term, prolonged ketogenic diet. It's a fad among people wanting weight loss. The shocking demise of the actress stirred up popularity and interest in the diet. The excessive consumption of protein creates a burden on the kidneys, which eventually affects the kidney function and will lead to renal failure. Do they really believe all this bullshit when they write this? Like, seriously? And they act like we don't remember history. Like, I've been around a long time. And some days, guys, it's a curse that I'm the old man in the community. But in other ways, I go, they're just repeating the same stuff they were doing when I first started online in 2005. This is not new. They've been making these claims about the Atkins diet and low-carb diet. And then it went to the paleo diet, and then the ketogenic diet, and now the carnivore diet. They're just going to keep on with the same talking points. For the record, there is no danger if you don't already have some kind of kidney damage. There is no danger in excessive protein from eating a ketogenic diet, and it most certainly will not harm your kidney function or lead to renal failure. So they say because of that, that's why you do not need to follow it over a long period of time. And so they go over what the keto diet is, But prolonged intake of having fat in the diet has a high risk of increasing your cholesterol. I think we put that to rest. I wrote a whole book about it called Cholesterol Clarity, and eating saturated fat and eating cholesterol does not raise your cholesterol. There is no such disease as high cholesterol. As desperately as they want people to believe that, there is no such thing as high cholesterol as a disease. And so high cholesterol really doesn't really tell you anything, high cholesterol. And also high protein puts pressure on the kidneys. And you can report low blood pressure, which in the long run will result in heart disease as well. So in the quest to keep your heart healthy, don't let your blood pressure go too high and don't let your blood pressure go too low. Well, we need the Goldilocks like blood pressure. I think they're just like grabbing at straws here. So they cite some study out of Harvard, blah, 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 blah. And they're dissing on red meat, talking about higher incidence of kidney stones, excretion of calcium in the urine, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, this kind of stuff gets out there in the mainstream. And guess who reads about fellow members of the entertainment community? It's members of the entertainment community. And one such member is who we're going to talk about here today. Her name is Jameela Jamil. And yes, if you're just joining us, we are talking about this actress, Jameela Jamil. And she is currently warning celebrities against promoting the keto diet. So there's a picture of her on the screen. You may not just immediately recognize her, but maybe she looks a little bit familiar if you are a fan of American television and you watch The Good Place. There she is on The Good Place. Ted Danson, I believe, stars in that. And who's that? Kristen Bell is there in that picture with her. So she's out there in Hollywood. She's from the UK and so has done some radio and movie and TV work there. But this lady right here, Jameela Jamil, if I'm mispronouncing her name, I apologize. I'm not trying to disparage her. Jameela Jamil. Well, I'm just going to call her Jameela Jamil. However you say her name, that's her right there. But she came out very strongly recently in opposition to the ketogenic diet. And I was thinking, okay, where is she coming from? So instead of just being knee-jerk reaction, I started looking into her a little bit, trying to figure out, okay, why is she going after keto? So what I found was she's actually very much against something I'm against, and that's the diet industry and how there are a lot of vultures and companies and individuals trying to take advantage of people. And so I was like, whoa, okay, I can get on board with that. And what happened was she just kind of grouped keto into that. So I'm going to get into the keto stuff here in a minute, but I wanted to tell you, at least start off on a positive note, what I agree with about Jameela Jamil's position on like the industry. So here's an article from the Daily Mail. I'm so sick of this, says Jameela Jamil, slamming an irresponsible move to advertise diet shakes on Instagram as she insists celebrities should list all the potential side effects if they're going to push a product. So she called out one of her fellow industry influencers and criticized her for an irresponsible move to advertise the diet shake. She's been outspoken in her stance against diet products in general. Also insisted that all the side effects should be listed. And I think that's a good idea. Like if there is a product that has known side effects and you're not telling your followers about said side effects, then I think that is irresponsible. So here's the post. I'm going to show it to the main feed first. But here's the main post from the influencer, and here's where Jameela said, hey, you need to post the side effects for them. And so that's what she's known for doing. She's also taken aim at the Kardashian sisters on several occasions, criticizing their promotion of products like flat tummy tea and appetite-suppressing lollipops. In 2019, in the New York Times, the Kardashians were asked about all this backlash that Jameela has brought on them, and their responses only prompted the actress to accuse them of... I loved it. This is also British culture coming through in Jameela's words. They're a little more blunt than we are here in America. She says they're making money, the Kardashians, off, quote, the blood and diarrhea of teenage girls with eating disorders. Yeah, don't pull any punches there, Jameela. So when asked about the criticism, Kris Jenner said, I don't live in the negative energy space. 90% of the people are really excited. You know, I think it's okay to hold celebrities and influencers accountable for their actions. and especially if they're peddling a product that they're making money off of, if there are known side effects or known issues related to that, yeah, let your followers know. Like if I wouldn't, by the way, but if I had a sponsor as an influencer, if I had a sponsor that I knew if you ate their sugar-free chocolate, for example, and they had some sweetener in there that gave you diarrhea, I'd be like, all right, there is a sweetener in here that in some people causes diarrhea. I would not ever have one like that, by the way. But if I did, that's what I would do. I would give you the full disclosure. Jamila calls the Kardashians irresponsible for what they advertise. If you're too irresponsible to own up to the fact that you have a personal trainer, a nutritionist, a chef, a surgeon to help achieve your aesthetic goals rather than this laxative product, be sure to tell all of your followers about the side effects. If you don't do it, then I guess I have to, she wrote in a post where Khloe Kardashian had posted about meal replacement shakes. So, that's kind of interesting. Let's see if there's anything else in here before we get to the keto stuff. If you joined us late, we're talking about this actress named Jameela Jamil. She's famous for being on television in the Ted Danson show and on CBS. So go check it out if you hadn't. I like that show. It's a good show. But she is calling out some of the fellow celebrities. The Good Place is the name of the show, in case I didn't say it. She's calling out some of her fellow celebrities and influencers for basically promoting these products without really giving the warning. So I'm showing you the good things that I agree with before we get into the keto, but this also kind of sets the tone. She's been doing this for a few years in the diet industry. She's been calling out things that she thinks is BS. So she says, essentially, F the young, impressionable people, or those struggling with an eating disorder, we just want your money. That's pretty much how she's describing a lot of these people. I've been given these same opportunities to flog every bit of this same stuff for money. I just don't do it, so they have to. Thank you. Next. Their pockets are lined with blood of teenage girls. She doesn't hold back. She doesn't hold back. And I love that. I love that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Be smarter. This is on the fault of the little girls. Don't blame the grown billionaire adults preying on your insecurity and fear. Prey on the patriarchal value. Women are only valuable if they meet a certain aesthetic societal standard. Ooh. She just doesn't hold back. She said, I think celebrities have now been exposed. F them all. Okay, I think enough of that. You get the point. This lady is not new to the block of being critical of parts of the weight loss and health industry. And I agree with her on that. Like, I think there's a lot of shysters in the weight loss world that are seeking to prey on desperate, especially young women who just want to lose weight, look good, blah, 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 all the things that society puts on them. So I can appreciate that righteous indignation as it relates to that stuff. So good for her. The problem is she's turned her attention to keto. And I have a couple of news stories here that have quotes from her about what her issue is with keto. And again, if you joined us late, actress Jameela Jamil is now warning celebrities and other influencers about promoting the keto diet. She says, no, and let's find out why. This is from the Tribune.com or Tribune.com. Celebrities and influencers, this is her talking now, please stop pushing the keto diet on people who do not need to follow the diet for medical reasons. She posted that on Instagram recently. It can create all kinds of disturbances for people's bodies, including their vital organs.